Hello everyone, my name is Aman Khan. I'm the project coordinator of our Big Data 2 project focused on Canada's quality of life framework. As a coordinator, I was responsible for organizing our workflow, managing timelines, and ensuring that each team member could contribute effectively to their assigned roles. You can see from our project timeline that we begin by clarifying our deliverables, reviewing relevant articles, and dividing tasks early in the process. My role was to make sure that we stayed on track throughout each phase from data collection and analysis to infographic design and then the final submission. Over to Harsheen.
Hi, my name is Harsheen and I'm data engineer in this project. I was responsible for collecting and organizing raw data from Statistic Canada website. I ensured the data was clean, structured, and ready for analysis. I also supported the team by implementing code in R to process data efficiently and helped in creating visualizations that reflected key quality of life indicators. Up next, we have Justine.
Hi, I'm Jasleen. I worked as a data analyst in the project, and I explored the data to understand patterns and trends and looked for anything unusual or interesting. I also helped choose the best key indicators to represent the five areas of quality of life: health, prosperity, governance, environment, and society. I also helped in cleaning and preparing the data using R programming so it could be used for charts and analysis. Next.
Hi, I am Harshpreet and I worked as a visualization expert in this project. So, my task began by understanding the different articles on visualization that were provided and understanding the importance of each graph. Next, after having received the clean data, I worked on implementing the visualizations and making sure that all the visualizations were neat, the font was readable, and all the color coding was done accurately. Over to Divyansh.
Hi, my name is Divyansh, and I'm working as a graphic designer in this project. So I worked on the layout, key indicator selection, and the design of the infographics. We have chosen the five main areas: prosperity, society, health, environment, and good governance to show the Canada's quality of life. And the goal was to make the data easy to understand using the simple visualization and clear insights. Over to Kritika.
Hi, I'm Kritika and I'm the research lead of this project. So I reviewed all the data and articles regarding Canada's quality of life, and I also researched various indicators for various factors like society, health, prosperity. And finally, after all this, I recorded and cleaned the video content for final presentation.
Now let's walk you through the infographics, which depicts all the graphs and everything about the quality of life in Canada. Over to Harsheen.
Hi, my name is Harsheen, and I will be walking you through prosperity as one of the major dimensions to measure the quality of life in life index in Canada. From 2020 to 2024, there has been a huge growth in population. For example, in 2020, the population was 38.02 million, which grew to 41.29 million. That is approximately a 3.1% increase in overall for 4 to 5 years. This rise in population can be a strong driver for economic growth, for example, GDP, as more people means a larger workforce and more consumers spending money. However, while this supports the economy, it can also impact quality of life if public services doesn't keep up. Rapid population growth, especially in 2023 and 2024, may lead to pressure on housing, healthcare, transportation, and education systems. If not managed properly, it can cause higher living costs, overcrowding, and longer wait times for essential services. So, while GDP may benefit from this growth, it is important for Canada to invest in infrastructure and smart planning to ensure that the rising population may also enjoy a high quality of life standard. Up next, we have society.
Now let's see what society as a factor affects how the quality of life in Canada. For society related quality of life, the data shows that 70% of Canadians feel that they have someone to count on, which is a strong indicator of social support. Whereas only 50% feel a sense of belonging or report very low levels of loneliness. The lowest score is satisfaction with time use, with just 30% rating it high, showing that personal time management and well being needs more attention. Now, moving on to health.
Now, I'll be talking about health as one of the most important dimensions of quality of life. Health directly affects how long and how well people live, so it's a critical part of this project. For this, I focused on analyzing data from Statistics Canada that shows the top 5 causes of death in Canada from 2020 to 2023. Let's talk about the key insights that I found. Total deaths stayed above 300,000 every year. The number of deaths remained high throughout all the 4 years. The highest was in 2022, possibly due to pandemic after effects or Canada's aging population. Second up, Canada was the leading cause. Cancer was the leading cause of death in Canada. In simple terms, it had the highest number of deaths each year. This shows the cancer is still a major health challenge and needs more focus in terms of research, early detection, and treatment. From 2021 to 2023, there were noticeable increase in the deaths listed under other cause, which could possibly mean new health risks are emerging due to mental health post COVID. And we can see there have been changes in how data is reported. Either way, it tells us the health conditions beyond the top diseases are becoming more significant and needs attention. Next up,
Hi. We will be talking about the environment next. So, in the environment, I've taken two metrics, which is air and quality, which are very important in determining, the kind of life you will be having wherever you live. So, first up, let's look at the air quality of Canada. So for this indicator, I have taken the Canada's greenhouse gas emissions, and over the years, as you can see, the data begins from 1990. So there has been a huge increase or an incline in the emissions, and they have fluctuated over up to early 2007s, and as of now, currently, it has started to go down, but there, as towards the end, you can see a slight increase. This tells us that while Canada is working on controlling its greenhouse emissions, there is also a likelihood that they may rise in the future due to the increase in population. Moving to the water quality, Canada's excellent and impeccable water quality is rare, which is only 7%, while while water can be considered as a good or fair for use, it is not likely to find excellent quality. And there is also a proportion of 17% of proportion in Canada's water body, which is considered as poor or marginal. This means that Canada still needs to work quite a lot on its water resources and Canadian rivers to make sure that the water is of great quality and is clean and safe to consume. Moving next to the governance.
Okay, I'll now walk you through the good governance in detail. So, what do we mean by good governance in the context of Canada's quality of life? This dimension focuses on the level of trust Canadians have in the federal institutions, trust that is deeply influenced by how the government communicates, how transparent it is, and how accessible services are and how it handles crisis. Let's dive into the data I visualized. So in 2018, we can clearly see that trust in the federal institution was it recorded at approximately 60%. However, during the COVID 19 pandemic in 2020, there was a significant dip in that trust. This makes sense considering the public's heightened anxiety and uncertainty during that time. It reflects how national events can shake public confidence even in the stable democracies. By 2023, we see a slight recovery with trust levels rising back to about 55%, although this is encouraging and it's still below pre pandemic levels, indicating that there's a work to be done to rebuild the confidence. And now here are the key insight I want to emphasize on. Trust in federal institution fluctuates. It was not static. It is sensitive to how well institutions respond to their major events and how connected people feel to the decision being made on their behalf. So what does it exactly tell us is it tells us that if Canada wants to strengthen this pillar of quality of life, it must continue improving transparency and communication, ensure public services are accessible, and build stronger, more resilient mechanism to manage future crises. That's it. Thank you.